Alright, so now we've set the bike up outside so we can let it run for a bit. And I'm going to go through and explain the idle mixture screw. Now that is this one here, and we set it at 2 full turns when we assemble the carby again. You might have noticed when I started the bike the first time after installing the carby, the idle was a little bit low, so I turned this in, which then it's a tapered pin and it lifts the slide, allows more air to flow through, so you can adjust that. They're easy to turn. You turn it with your finger to adjust the RPM of the idle. Now what we want to do is adjust this correctly. We set it at 2 turns, so we start the bike up, we let it idle for a bit, and then I can show you and explain what's happening with that. What you want to listen for is when you hit the RPM. I'll turn it off and explain. With this screw, what we're looking for is that when you pull the throttle, let it go, the RPM to come down and level out. If the RPM drops and then it goes lower in the RPM and then creeps back up to the idle, you're too rich. And when you back off and it's coming back to an idle, if it sits high and then slowly comes down to the idle, sits above the idle RPM and then comes down, well then you're a bit lean. I like to run them a little bit leaner so they don't foul up when you sit the thing idling and then you take off. So I'll show you what I mean, and I'll see if you can hear the difference when I bring it back down to an idle. So I'll start it up again.